Welcome to the Future of Tech. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Paul Beelen, Head of IT and Technology at Coca-Cola HBC, to the Future of Tech podcast. With over 16 years of experience in project portfolio management and technology transformation, Paul leads the Agile transformation at Coca-Cola HBC, overseeing 172 Agile teams and driving innovation across the organization. Coca-Cola HBC is one of the world's largest bottlers for the Coca-Cola Company, operating in 29 countries and serving millions of consumers daily. Paul plays a pivotal role in aligning technology strategies with the company's goals, ensuring that IT infrastructure and agile methodologies work together to drive efficiency, sustainability, and innovation. In this episode, we'll dive into Paul's expertise in managing large-scale technology portfolios, the challenges of balancing traditional IT structures with agile teams, and how Coca-Cola HBC is leveraging technology to stay ahead in the fast-moving consumer goods industry. Welcome to the podcast, Paul. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about your role as Head of IT and Technology at Coca-Cola HBC? What are your key responsibilities in this position?
Yeah, I'm the PMO manager and I'm responsible for different areas. So I'm responsible for the Agile transformation. We went Big Bang over we use SAFe methodology. On top of that, I'm responsible for the progress on delivery and making sure that the delivery is done in the right way. So it's called portfolio management. And also the delivery, the impact on the countries. So we have in the 29 countries, when are we going live with which system, etc. Then I have a methodology and governance. So there, all the Scrum Masters are there. So about 80 Scrum Masters, about 6 Agile coaches, how we work, and etc. Then we have test management. So it's test management. How do we do testing, setting up testing and test automation. And then another pillar is quality assurance, where we also do the quality checks and help elevate the teams. And the last one is everything around tooling like Power BI, ServiceNow, and Azure DevOps. So it's a quite large team, which we report to the teams. In total, we have on 72 Scrum teams with 35 release trains. And we touch everything around IT within Coca-Cola Hellenic. So you think about HR systems still, commercial teams, so order to cash, and supply chain, cybersecurity, so everything basically.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously there are a lot of people reporting to you, and I'm sure you have a very busy day. So again, thank you for your time today. So what does the Agile transformation at Coca-Cola involve? What is your role in driving this process?
So we first did fully everything in waterfall, and we saw we were lacking and not connecting to the customer. That's why we chose to do to agile ways of working. We went Big Bang, and now we are with the iterations which Agile brings. We can really validate if we are on the right path, and also we don't have to create a big mega requirement documents and validate that. And also with our vendors that we do it. So that took first 1 or 2 months to create, and now we can create the MVPs basically, and then we can better adjust based on the increments that we do. We have the routine PI planning. So every 3 months we have a program increment with all the teams, and then we can also sync what's happening within commercial, supply chain, and how does that overlap. and how is enabling technology like infra, cloud linked to that. And then we can also discuss the interdependencies basically. So it really helps us to be connect better with the customer. So these are the countries and the global departments like supply chain, and we are able to adjust faster. For like we had the Russia war, we acquired Egypt, that we can reprioritize items better. We acquired Finlandia, it's a vodka brand. How do you adjust that and adjust your products basically instead of your projects here? You adjust your product roadmap.
And so, looking at, let's say, the transformation and the digital part maybe of the company, can you give some examples maybe for the listeners that could be helpful? What kind of digital, uh, um, let's say, products or tools that you use or that you have? What are you working with? What is it? What is it that Coca-Cola? Where is Coca-Cola involved in technology that you are involved as well?
So to give a little bit as different examples. So, for example, digital twin. Digital twin is within the factories to analyze the full factory line to see where are we. There's over temperature, how's the water consumption, electricity, is there sufficient things like that. So then with the hologram that is coming up with digital twin, you can Google it what digital twin is. Helps you to where you stand. So that's one example. The other one is called the metaverse. We train our business developers, and business developers are the people who are going to cafes and restaurants to check how our Coca-Cola represented. And there we then we train them in the metaverse to say, yeah, what if you add more umbrellas, and what if you do it XYZ? How much more exposure do you have? And we also have, for example, the coolers that you have on the stand. We have about 1 million across our 29 countries. The other example is the coolers that we have. We have 1 million coolers across 29 countries. These coolers are all connected. Connected coolers is called. And they are connected with Wi-Fi, how much door opens and closes, the light is on, yes or not. And then every giving time, there's coming someone to scan them with a tablet. If what's in the cooler, are the labels in front? Are there other products like Red Bull or competitors' products? And all the data is connected and merged together. And then we also provide feedback to the bar or restaurant, how to sell things better. Do we have to order more cans on specific items for that? So we help that. And then also with the commerce, as stated in the previous example, if there's Coca-Cola combos, like Coca-Cola with your sandwich, to add and improve that we can sell better things basically. Because also, so those combo deals that you see online or in a shop, they are all made by us. So we discuss it, then we create it in a tablet, and then it's printed and is shared with the restaurant or bar or kiosk basically.
I think very practical insights for people at least to understand how Coca-Cola is using technology. I think it's great examples. So what are then the biggest challenges that you face, in implementing the agile transformation basically in a large organization like Coca-Cola? Obviously you have a history in other big companies as well. But how does this happen in Coca-Cola?
One is the cultural aspects. We have our digital hubs mainly across the 29 countries. We have focus points in Bulgaria and in Greece. They follow not always. So in some of those Eastern European countries, they see that if a manager states something, it's the law basically. But with an Agile, it's the independent teams that they can have their own ecosystem. So breaking that boundaries is difficult. And the online, so my team is scattered across 7 countries, and my manager is in Switzerland. Not being together as a whole group, that's difficult. And yeah, you see still a lot of fake agile with management explaining what's the value of it. So constantly saying what's the value, why should we do it like this, etc. But then they are using the tools, but then you see a feature design, feature develop, execute, etc. So it's a waterfall and an agile approach basically. So yeah, step by step you are making the change. And yeah, if you compare us with other bottle companies, we like your Pacific partners, we are ahead of the curve. And yeah, that's nice to see. But we are still not there yet, basically.
Yeah. And so, and then obviously in this transformation and with all the challenges that you have, there's a difference obviously between traditional IT structures and maybe the flexibility that you have with agile teams, right? And how do you balance that? Because obviously you need to have some security and some infrastructure in place, and you're actually with agile teams, it might become challenging.
Yeah, we still, if you ask a real agile believer, everything has to be agile. But what we still do is 20% in waterfall. So a migration of a server from A to B, yeah, you can do it really in an agile way, but at the end, you have to do it from one to another. But for example, within clouds, are now moving to the cloud, for example. We do it agile, so the testing is done in agile, and testing is block by block, but you see that there's a hybrid approach. So about 10-20% is done in agile, in a hybrid or in waterfall approach. So 80% is full agile blown. But yeah, as you also say, that infra, cyber security, and these kind of things, yeah, are difficult. But then the initial thought of creating what's needed and what's our approach, we do it in an agile way. And then the last part is then done in waterfall, basically the migration or the implementation of something.
Yeah, just to make it at least stable and secure enough, obviously. Yeah. Okay. So, so looking at the future, how do you see the role of IT and technology project evolving at Coca-Cola, let's say in the next 3 to 5 years?
What you see is that 3 years ago, there a new 4 years ago, a new CIO came, and then with the connection with the CEO, they made a change basically. First, IT was seen as an enabler. That it was an enabler, IT enables the sales, etc. And now it's seen as a strategic pillar. And the strategic pillar helps to grow, help with sustainability, help to optimize, reduce costs, increase sales, and these kind of things. And that's also the next step. So the investment went up significantly the last years, and then also in the few years to come. Because with IT and also with the use of artificial intelligence and everything around it, you see that IT becomes more important and everybody is using it, and we can optimize the work and also take work, automate the work. To give an example, we used to do a stock counting in a storehouse. It took 2 days for 2 people. Now we go with a drone and it's done in 2 hours by one person. And to recognize it. So it's optimizing things, and you see it also differently with different countries. For example, in Austria, we heavily automated. We don't have forklifts, for example, all automated, etc. In other countries, the unions are quite big. If you implement these kind of automations, you get strikes and things like that. But you also have to strike a balance. How fast are you implementing these kind of things? And so, yeah, for in the future, it looks bright. More automation, more connected, if etc. So and we are moving to factory 5.0. So if we're moving from to 4 and now to 5, we are creating on brain bank. So a brain bank is our own ChatGPT 2.0. Basically, we are connecting all the bots together. So you have a bot for ServiceNow with the IT systems. You have for Workday for your own IT system. You have the intranet. You have the internet. How does all that information connect with each other? To help and optimize the workers that we have, basically.
Which is, by the way, obviously you mentioned some examples, which I think a lot of companies are, they have a long way to go before they're there, right? So using drones, for example, or advanced AI, in a way like ChatGPT does, but then maybe 2.0, as you mentioned it, is actually already bringing maybe some part of the future to the current Coca-Cola, right? So and you can build on top of that. So it's great to hear, obviously, how a company like Coca-Cola is innovating and is moving forward and actually leading, let's say, the rest of the industry to this future, basically.
Yeah. I can also have here another example. For example, this can. It's called Coca-Cola Y3000. And this flavor is created by artificial intelligence. So we put all our flavors in one data bank, and there this flavor came out. And also you see all the nice coloring, etc. It's also the design is made by artificial intelligence. We launched this last year as a test, basically. And like now we have the flavor Oreo, for example, and people, some of the people liked it, and you see that it's not only helping people, but it's also getting in front of things. So creating new flavor, creating campaigns. We are sending, for example, about every month about 300,000 emails, commercial advertising ads. We are now helping advertise AI creating these these also things. So AI is really helping in a lot of areas, but it's also scaring a lot of people. So you have to be transparent. What is the impact on the work, etc. On that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's extremely interesting to learn about all of these things. So what are your, let's say, key strategic goals, which you aim to achieve with your teams, let's say it like that, in terms of managing and delivering technology initiatives? Because obviously in the coming years, you have some deliveries that you are scheduling probably. So what are your goals, your strategic goals in that area?
For delivery, we are it's called the new system Promo 360. We are launching, and also moving to the clouds, Cyber 2.0. So these are strategic goals, and become more a trusted partner. And what you still see is that we have delays across different products that we have and we're launching. Especially, for example, we are implementing a new master data system, which is really complex if you want to implement it in 29 countries, because you see one country wants 4 telephone numbers, the other one 6, and the other one has 1 email address. And when if you contacted which email address should be then the primary, things like that. We have also relic, so not only relic languages, so it's not a normal European American sentences. If you open it then from another country, do you see then the European standard words or the other words? How do you challenge that? So these are so the master data is much delayed, and also there's other things connected to that, and being more trustful partner for the business. And the business, I say, is our 29 countries, because we have a central IT organization which we deliver to the 29 countries. To be more trustful and more predictable is, for me, really important to do that.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. Okay, and so looking at the trends we already discussed, like automation or AI. What do you think, what do you see as most promising, let's say, in the fast-moving consumer goods industry like Coca-Cola?
Sustainability is really a big buzzword, and sustainability is not only the environment but also health and safety for the employees, sugar tax. So it's also being healthy as a person, but also as an employee. Mm, Good education, giving back to the community. So that's one of the trends, the return schemes that you see in more and more countries. So in the Netherlands, we already have these return schemes in place with the cans, etc. But it's not coming good in all countries. These kind of things, and also sugar tax. In the Netherlands, we just started with this, I think, a few months back. But in some, and also explain, if you see Coca-Cola as just sugar water, if you boil down to the detail, basically. To also, how do you stay relevant? How do you have the right portfolio to have also healthy drinks and things like that? As you see, we try to serve 24-hour, so in the morning with water, coffee, like Costa coffee that we serve. How do you stay relevant and also grow in these areas? And you see also that the prices rises with the inflation, with a lot of. How do you index that? And how do you make sure that your margin is still less? For example, Unilever is also changing this. You saw that they are selling off the ice cream business because of it's declining slowly. Yeah. So this, how do you for a brand still become relevant? With basically we have a lot of sugar in our products. How do you balance that?
Yep. And so, and obviously, you're talking about these different trends, these new maybe legislation or things like sugar tax. So how does adopting and implementing agile ways of working help Coca-Cola then respond to any of these trends more effectively?
Testing, experimenting with things. For example, you were the first to launch a carton on top on cans. You maybe saw it first; it was wrapped in plastic. Now we have it on top. Constant looking how can you optimize that? How to optimize? And now we have it launched in Austria. You have a 6-pack of Coca-Cola, 1.5 liter bottles. It's also wrapped in plastic. There we also have it with paper around it. These kind of things, but that's the business projects. Within IT projects, we have, for example, the digital twin. Within digital twin, we saved 10% of water, a lot of energy, and things like that. Also, optimizing routes to our customers, taking into account traffic jams, electrifying things and things like that. So, and as a result of that, we are now seen as the most sustainable FMCG company on the New York Stock Exchange, basically. By doing all these kind of things around sustainability. So it's not only sugar, it's not only electricity, it's all the items together, basically.
Yeah, and it's obviously also a responsibility of a company, the size of Coca-Cola. Obviously, it's you are leading basically other companies. So we can only praise that. Obviously, Coca-Cola is taking this seriously. And all right, so looking then, obviously we scratched this a little bit already, but what is your vision, for the future of the industry, particularly from a technology perspective? So you mentioned obviously some of the let's say the items in the production line, but what is it if you look ahead? Maybe you look ahead a little bit further. You have many people reported to you. I'm sure that Coca-Cola has plenty of people on research and development and working on their way to innovate the future. So what is your perspective on this?
I think artificial intelligence is really a revolution. Taking into account it's not only just a co-pilot, but it's really changing, analyzing the data and improve and make decisions, basically. And we have to make so this is a big thing to make sure you don't miss that boat. It's now really a buzzword, but how can it really help you? We have a specific group looking with all competences. So there's cyber there, there's HR, but also legal. How far can you use it basically? And what's the impact on your employees? So artificial intelligence and also um, able to embrace it in the different areas outside the IT department is one of the trends, and also adjust to change. You see that change is coming quickly and quickly more often, like disruption. So we were first also in Russia. We carved out what's the impact on that. Due to that, we acquired Egypt also partly. And then that was in parallel. So how do you adopt these kind of changes in your portfolio? And yeah, things are going fast in my personal opinion. Than years back, basically. And with agile ways of working, you can quickly adapt. So agile is here to stay, but it's not fully agile. You always have the hybrid. You saw, yeah, like a swing. First you had waterfall, then you went to agile, and there you end up somewhere in the middle, basically. So you have your strategy. So that's still there. Artificial intelligence and adaptability, basically, on it. But these are the things that I see.
And so, what skills and technologies do you think are essential for IT professionals? Obviously, you have many people working for you, your teams. What do they need? What skills do they need to be, let's say, future ready?
Um, they have to be able to adopt. So even, for example, Copilot, etc., can can already create code and things like that. So notice you have to be more T-shirt size basically. So only being really an expert in one specific area is not the best take basically. Yes, you maybe have to a specific knowledge on SAP, S4HANA, or specific areas, but you also have to know more and connect the dots basically on that. So just being a developer and creating code, or just being a project manager or a scrum master, you have to adopt and also see outside your comfort zone and what's the impact on it, and look at the dependencies, and also look at the for example, also with the test automation, what's the impact of your code on the overview. So a lot of work is taken out of your hands, but how you then as an um, as a person still be relevant basically for the company, and that's something you have to be more t-shirt sized basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can imagine that. So that's good advice for anyone who is now maybe planning to go into IT. Right. So, and obviously we've discussed already a few, but maybe looking at the, let's say the project that you have been doing in the past, I don't know, a few years to a few months, what great example or a success can you share with the listeners?
So when I started almost 3 years ago with Coca-Cola HBC, so I started in February 2022, and they in January 1st they went over Big Bang Agile. So they had 600 waterfall projects, and then they came in and they say, Paul, you are a new PMO manager, but you are also the now responsible for the HR transformation. What will be the next step? So that's quite scary. And by the way, within 3 weeks, you also want to see, regardless of all that agile thing that you are doing, the status of the big products. So red, amber, green. And as you may know, within agile, you don't report on time and budget and things like that. So giving some reporting structure in place, it's also against agile. So how do you balance that? And after 6 months, coming above that to say, okay, yeah, we have found the structure, we are tracking the delivery, we are tracking the main products on overall status if they're red, amber, green, and then looking at the burn down and etc. Was one of the big achievements, and If after the first week I said, where the hell did I start, basically? But we, with good thinking, a lot of alignment, what is really needed, how is it going, a lot of discussions. I made the step, and we are still, of course, not fully there yet, but seeing the organization grow step by step, and also the people within, it really makes proud. And I don't have to be in the forefront of the things. I'm not delivering personally the new app, the new commercial, the new upgrade of S4HANA, etc. But being in the background, organizing how we deliver to make sure that we do it in the right way, be a trusted partner. That's a good feeling that I always get from it.
Yeah, I can believe that. Okay, so obviously it was quite a challenge, that they gave you, right? So and I think you obviously you stood up and you took care of it. What is then, let's say the lesson or lessons that you have learned about working or making this change, basically? And what would you share with other leaders who might have ideas to also follow you?
Talk to a lot of people, and don't feel and not only with your own peers, but also lower in the organization, because there do actually work is done. Talk to a lot of people how it's going. Don't sit just in your own bubble in this room, for example, and looking at the dashboard. Are they red, amber, green, etc.? Talk to have informal coffees, set up a call and ask what the data. Don't trust all the data. Validate the data. I've seen people really high senior managers burn out because they trust the dashboards, but they are basically watermelons, green from the outside, red inside. Dus, well, uh, trust what is the angle behind it? Why is it is going well? Yes or not? Who are the informal leader basically around the trust race? Are they positive? Yes or not? So align with a lot of people within an organization, and not only your senior, but also within the lower in the organization. Talk to developers. Ask how is it going. Is this agile really helping them? Yes or not? Because if all the developers say it's crap, this agile ways of working, then at a certain moment in time it will stop basically, and then you can
You know
know
what I like?
peace from Scrum Masters, etc. But then it will not help it.
Yeah, but you know what I like? Obviously, we are in IT and we're talking about technology, uh, but it's still a people business, right? Because you have to talk to people in order to understand if they are on track, if they like it, if they see other things that need to be improved, and so on. Interesting, very good advice. I would say that. And so, obviously, you already shared some of these, and maybe talking to people is one of them. But what other strategies have you found most effective in scaling these agile practices in an organization or let's go before?
Don't go too fast, because we at first really really hard paced how to implement agile safe ways of working with OKRs, etc., and these kind of things. But you can also run front of the people basically, validate also where do you stand and are they able to adopt basically, to make sure that for example, I wanted to have the OKRs more than a year ago. We are not there yet. We've now set an objective. And at the beginning of the PI, they said we are going to deliver X amount of storage and features. But then you ask, what's the value of bringing that? What did you deliver basically? What's the value that you brought to the business? And now we are slowly moving. Okay, now we have an objective, and the next step is what's your OKR basically. So that's one thing. And the other thing is um, um, not only give everybody a certificate with agile and safe. So and that is only how you use the methodology, but how do you do it in practice? Basically, how do you do pragmatic planning? If you follow the Scrum Master, training? Are you really able to manage the daily stand-ups, all the ceremonies? If you are followed the Scrum Master and product manager or product owner training, are you able to build a vision around your products? Are you able to translate that to features and stories? Yes or not? So really, just the certification is not good enough. Really helping them understand how they do it in practice is also important, and make sure that they do it, because certifications is one thing, but yeah, adoption is the second part, basically.
Yeah, yeah. All right, that's also interesting advice. And I think maybe one last question: how do you think that other sectors can learn from Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola's approach to let's say this new agile way of working?
One really good thing that we have is see your business commitment. So our CIO and our management team, so the platform directors, are really committed to that, to make sure that you have them on board to move forward. And that's one thing. And be open, be transparent. What are the steps that you're taking? Yeah, there's resistance if you change rules, and things like that. That people want to have a job. It's also they are providing for a family, basically. Make sure that there's a bright future for them. And but what is the step that we are taking for them? So that's something. Make sure that you have everybody on board, have commitment of senior management. If these are two main things, and constantly drive improvements, constantly check in with the teams. Where do we stand? Are we able to make a next step? Yes or not? And how fast?
Yeah. All right. Okay. So thank you very much, Paul, for sharing your incredible insights and experiences with us today. I mean, it has been fascinating to learn about the agile transformation at Coca-Cola, the role of technology in driving innovation, and your vision for the future of, let's say, the fast-moving consumer goods industry, as it's called. So your expertise, I would say, in balancing the complexity of traditional IT systems with the flexibility of agile teams is absolutely inspiring. I'm sure that our listeners have gained valuable takeaways for their own organizations. So thank you also our audience for tuning in to the Future of Tech. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. And stay tuned for more conversations with leaders shaping the future of technology across industries. Until next time, take care and keep innovating.